Chapter 5, Consciousness. How conscious are you? Which thought patterns occupy most of your thinking time? What qualities do those thoughts possess? Are they nagging thoughts? Are they embracing thoughts? Are they a mix between the positive as well as the less positive? The point is, whatever we choose to call the voice in our head, that voice seems to be a part of our everyday conversations with ourselves. In some sense, it's the entity you've spent the most of your awakened time with. Now, how about our combined space? For instance, if you were to find yourself in an excessively long queue as you order your morning coffee, at some point, you might start to ask yourself why the line has stopped moving. The elders taught us that an experience may be shared amongst a few, while the same few might not experience the same thoughts. If the line hasn't moved by the time everyone else's tolerance marker has, where would the thoughts of the angry mob be directed? If it was to be directed towards the person who's blamed to be upholding the queue, will the nature of the collective thoughts be positive, or would they simply be a collection of thoughts towards the opposite? How conscious are you of your thoughts when faced with uncomfortable abilities? I'm sure we're many of us who've felt some degree of rage to know exactly what magical adjustments we believe could have solved the previous situations. But how aware are we of our contributions to the shared space at hand? In the case of the coffee dilemma, the collected consciousness might be causing pressure, and that pressure might be making it more difficult to remember something like a bank code. It's as if there's a resistance in the air causing a disconnect between someone else's body and mind. Now, picture yourself standing furthest at the back of the queue. While gazing ahead, you suddenly see a thumb being moved as a transaction is being accepted. Coffee was served and your eyes now meet as the man tries to exit the bistro. The queue gets shorter and your ears couldn't help but notice his feet dragged across the floor for a slight moment. Enough to make a subtle squeak. It's as if they lost control of their bodies when forced to walk by the impatiently angry mob. Even so, their bodies seem to be communicating. It's as if the language of the body was saying that which the tongue couldn't. Just like time, the concept of light and that which is without light has always both fascinated and intrigued me. There's a particular verse that has been on the tip of my tongue these past couple of months. It comes from the 24th chapter of the Holy Quran, An-Nur, the light. The more experiences I have of interactions in public spaces communicated through body language, the more this verse seems to tickle my mind, body, and even soul. Allah, glorified and exalted is He, states, "On the day their tongues, hands, and feet will testify against them for what they used to do." Upon a deeper reflection, I came to the conclusion that our bodies seem to write and communicate that which our conscious minds struggle to do. By practicing consciousness, you could prepare for an opportunity, like the dragging of the feet, before it occurs, by simply anticipating an event. Your body language might assist you when looking for your inevitable breaking point within a given situation. There hides opportunity for change within all environments. Let's try something together. Place this book down and go visit the bathroom. Take a look in the mirror and ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding to answer. But this time, answer them. Don't use your tongue to speak out loud nor to form any sentences aloud. use whatever internal communication tools you use when speaking to thyself in a state of doubt. Pay close attention to the questions you've intentionally avoided. Look for the response that often hides within your eyes. Yes, as well as the muscles that surround your face. Your body will speak for itself. Whatever you're avoiding, just know that the person in the mirror has a truthful answer for you and has been trying to speak with you. Now let's see what responses you'll get when he'll be speaking to you. Trust the process. You will know. The beauty of conversating with yourself is you never have to worry. It's a language you've accustomed to speak fluently. Opportunities are always presented right in front of us. But if you can't evaluate the significance of the moment, it might be difficult to see your contribution and how it connects to an end result. Being conscious of your opportunities could change a situation's trajectory, even quicker if there's an action plan. If you tend to be like the man that dragged his feet when walking past the queue, try tightening your abdominals to deal with the anxiousness. You see, a conscious execution of an action plan will contribute to vital feedback, both for the good as well as the ones perceived as less good. And there are a whole lot of those. Even though we might be experiencing a bad situation, you aren't exempted from having to stop at a red light. Act accordingly. There's strength in real time when unity is practiced. Let me give you another example. If I was to genuinely want peace for you as a person in all its forms, peace of heart, peace of anxiety, peace of tranquility, etc., I'd eventually have to accept the equation of peace within reciprocity. If I genuinely wished for peace whenever I saw you and could expect the same amount from you to me, then to some degree we will unite. Active peace works as an inevitable breaking point for all moments in all stocks. You see, the value of peace will always be in high demand, but a repeated reality can feel quite different. We subconsciously may use phrases like good morning with the intensity of a lame salutation. The varieties are many and often recognizable from miles away. Hello, good morning, hi, etc. They all possess the same intensity of acknowledging seeing someone for the first time that day. While this happens, the expectation of an answer is to match what we assume the other person understood rather than what we literally said. If you're in doubt, the next time you see a colleague in the morning, have a slight delay in your answer and emphasize a different part of the sentence. For instance, try and say good morning while smiling in their direction. The change of melody will change the reaction. So how conscious are we of that in which we are not conscious of? And when did you start to allow your subconscious to go on autopilot? Exactly. There's dead weight on your ship and it's slowing you down from finding your inevitable breaking point. If you practice certain behaviors subconsciously and expect a different result, how could that be? My mentor taught me the significance of asking oneself, how quickly can I identify the dead weight that I am currently carrying in this specific situation? And even more just, what are you doing about it? Being able to identify an insecurity also means you're able to identify the situations in which they are experienced. Maybe not in the moment, but in your reflections of the day. I'd recommend supplementing your evening routines with a quick reflection of your past day. Do it chronologically, from the moment you woke up to the point in which you are now laying down ready for sleep. Think of all the places you've been and the conversations you've had. Just like with a dream, if it sticks out from the rest, there might be an insight or two waiting for you. If you get stuck in a particular scene, try and think of yourself as an omniscient narrator. Now picture yourself as one of the people you're interacting with. Observe how you reacted to a particular scene as well as what conversations might have made you feel less at ease. If you're aware of a situation that is likely to appear in the near future, prepare an action plan accordingly. Don't ignore your common default reactions. They contribute to the repetition of your outcomes. Have a look at the graph above. Now imagine your thoughts as concepts that live and circulate within the layers like an onion. They're all part of your thought process and work accordingly to where they are located. Every layer from the skin heading inwards represents the realm in which the people that surround you live within. For instance, furthest out is the layer where you're faced with society and all the interactions that come with that layer. The people you meet when you go to the store, the public spaces where interactions and ideas can be exchanged, as well as participating in general festivals and other activities with neighboring associates. The other layer is the one of friends and associates. Here, certain conversations can take place that wouldn't necessarily happen in the above layer with a similar amount of ease and depth. Further in might be the layer of family. Here, the most nostalgic of moments and shared vulnerability may take place. That cousin that saw how you peed your pants when you were 12 and now holds it against you during family gatherings. That part. The anecdotes of what really happened is often up for debate within this layer. But inside of that space rests a unique piece of layer known only to you. Always remember and value this layer separately from the others. This layer is known as your absolute truth. Here rests no lies, no time, just pure truth and force towards clarity. The closer you are to the center of your equator upon speaking, the heavier the gravitas of the conversation will tend to be witnessed. It might be a bit tricky to identify this frequency at first, but imagine the realm in which a scared mother would scream from as she witnesses how fast a moving car turns the corner as it barely nudges her child, or the frequency in which the two boxers are perfectly aligned when staring into each other's eyes while receiving the final rules before the bell rings. Or the dimension in which your mind is in as it answers you when you are in doubt, moments before jumping off a steep ledge. You see, your absolute truth lives within the naked space that you visit whenever your bathroom mirror reflection demands for you to be in a state full of vulnerability, a filterless moment that serves your consciousness with clarity. No lies live here. No time lives here. There's just you and your absolute truth.
More home tutoring.
Yeah, true.
You shouldn't be disappointed. If this doesn't come today, we'll be able to do it. It will come tomorrow. If we're not able to do this, if you will not be able to provide for you for this, we're always giving you hope.
Never
So
give up. Never give up.